Morning ladies and gents, it's Alex. Hope you're keeping safe and well. So as promised, I wanted to come back to you with another video. So this one is basically just on the buying process to help anybody looking to buy a house basically in the UK. So this hopefully will give you some good pointers, and hopefully this video is kind of like a groundwork, just a basic overall kind of view of how to look for a house in the UK, just make things really, really simple. So really easy. First thing I would be doing is basically go and speak to a mortgage advisor. Now, mistake most people make is they go straight away to go and speak to their bank, thinking that they've banked with them for ages, so the bank will give you the best mortgage. It's not true, you're a statistic. So you need to go and find a decent independent broker. Look at Google reviews, and that person, much like when you do your car insurance, that person will search the whole of the market for you. So nothing wrong with speaking to your bank. Get the rate from your bank that they're willing to offer you. But what I would do is, if you independent broker, when you go and see them, ask for the rate, or if you've had any other advice, just say no. You know what rate you've been quoted, because what tends to happen a lot of the times is the broker will just find something relatively easy to get his commission and save you a little bit of money to go with him, but there might actually be better deals out there. So get the rate from your bank, go and speak to an independent broker, much like you do when you go on Confused to do your car insurance. And then really big thing, when you sit with that broker, don't tell him anything, just say first time buyer or looking to buy first house, whatever it is. And then really important thing to do is basically ask him when you're speaking to them, or him or her, basically to turn the screen so you can actually see the rate. So you do not want a broker sat behind a screen telling you what the best deal is. You want transparency, that you're actually getting that number one best deal, and he's actually showing you what you're potentially getting for the mortgage. Next thing I'll do after that is basically go onto Rightmove, set up an alert. Rightmove lets you draw a search area for what you're looking for, so I always go a little bit further afield. When you go on there, some agents tend to fudge kind of how they're listing properties to get more views, so I would just select building plot, select everything, park home, absolutely everything, to make sure you're not missing any properties. A little bit further afield, once you've got your budget, select a little bit over your budget as well. And obviously that Rightmove will then send you alerts. The only thing obviously I'd be wary of this is, remember that most people are always searching by newest listed, meaning that obviously most people want what other people want. So the competition, if there is competition on these houses, will be on the ones that are coming. We all want that dopamine hit of the next thing. So newest listed is going to be where there's that herd mentality. You're potentially going to overpay, especially if the market's very busy. So obviously where the deals are going to be is if you switch that around and change the search to oldest listed. It's what we call the low hanging fruit. A lot of the times the properties maybe look terrible, but just the photos are bad, or the marketing's bad, or people are just bored of it. And obviously sometimes when we're leaving that digital footprint on Rightmove and something says that, it was reduced, let's say in November last year, the problem then is that most people, obviously it's the British way, we all like a cup of tea and a moan. Most people probably look at that and go, what's wrong with it? Which is what we all do. Next step after that, I would go straight, which no one does, and register with the agents face to face. It's much easier to get your name out there, get your face out there. The agents will remember you and make things easier. So as kind of where I really struggle with buyers is we get it here. We get people walk in that say, hi, we're looking across the whole county, 800 to 1.4 million, willing to look at anything. Well, I've got about 90 houses that I can print off and show you, and across the offices, and that just makes my life an absolute nightmare. So the more you can niche it down for the agent, the more it's easier to basically find you a property. And remember, obviously, that when agents are looking for stuff, and this goes back to what I said about Rightmove, one of the things you can do on that, which I think I've said before in another video, is everyone searches obviously by what's available. Have a good look through, when you've got your budget from the broker, the properties that are sold as well. Because if you go through there, everyone looks at for sale, but if you go through there and find stuff that's sold, basically there might be things in there that you think, wow, that's absolutely perfect. Yeah, that's our perfect house. If you show the agent that, whoever it is, a lot of these times these guys and girls have valued stuff that may be just about to come to market or not quite on the market. That's the path of least resistance to a fee. If they can just get you into a house, it means there's no competition with someone else viewing that. You can go and view the house, and it makes the agent's life easier in finding you something. Next thing you want to be doing is searching for a solicitor, obviously a conveyancer to act for you. Not mention any other companies here, but solicitors, I am the tightest person ever when it comes to money and saving, and I spend on the things that matter to me. and I save on the things that don't. And unfortunately, solicitors are one of those things that you do not want to scrimp on when you're buying a house. Any mistake that's made is going to cost you massively going forward. And you'll also find if you get a very, very cheap solicitor, there's a lot of online conveyancers, these kind of companies. I promise you guys, if you have literally found a solicitor, let's say for 600 quid when everyone else is quoting 1400, there will be a reason they are 600 quid. And what you will find, same with when you're doing your mortgage via a bank, when you sign up directly with a bank instead of a broker, once the bank have got your money, you are responsible for chasing that. So that means call centres, it means trying to chase things in your lunch hour, getting cut off, they can't find your postcode, they can't find your mortgage deal. They get their commission the second you sign with them. Mortgage brokers don't. The bank gets paid the second you sign. The mortgage broker gets paid on completion, the day you move in, the day that product starts. So they have a duty of care and will follow that mortgage through and chase it for you to make sure you get moved. Solicitors are in the same sort of boat. You'll have companies that you're chasing, they're cheap, you won't get calls back, you'll just get, I have it daily where I'm chasing things and you're on hold for like half an hour, I've got a million one other things to do, and then literally I either get cut off or someone picks up and says, hi, can I help? And you've been on hold for 40 minutes. Then they put you through to the team, it's a different team, they don't know who you are, they don't know what they're doing, the person's off sick. Just don't scrimp. Ideally find a local solicitor, someone you can move in and speak to face to face if you need to. I'm a great believer that people buy people. So yeah, not naming any companies in particular, but I would just be very, very mindful that if you find an exceptional deal on conveyancing, there's probably a reason it's an exceptional deal. We don't get anything for free in life, guys. Let's be really honest. If it's too cheap, then there's probably a reason for that. Next thing obviously is the going out and viewing stuff, which is really, really good. Remember that, look, we value, like I think I've said before, mathematically, people buy an emotion. You're going to walk into that house and it won't be the best house you view. Potentially it's going to be the one you just see yourself living in. You see a Christmas tree in the corner, or your kids playing, or whatever it may be. One tip I'd give you guys and girls, I would be driving down roads at kind of 8, 9 o'clock on, not a weekend because everyone goes out, but like a Wednesday or Thursday night. Go down to the street. The problem is nowadays, especially with new builds, they design these estates with 2 parking spaces. The problem is that, mum's got a car, dad's got a car, whoever, daughter's got a car, daughter's boyfriend visits, dad's got a work van. And then the problem is you go to these estates at 8 o'clock at night, you're going to see, who's loitering about. You're going to see what the parking's like, the vans everywhere, all this kind of stuff. And it's going to give you a proper kind of view of what that area is really like, because when you're viewing it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon with the estate agent on a Monday and all the kids are at school and it's all quiet, well, it's not really probably true perception of how that property is going to be when you come home at night and you can't actually get on your driveway because there's 26 transit vans in the street. So go to these areas like 8, 9 o'clock at night, have good drive about. You're going to see how built up it is, who's loitering about, how safe it is, whether people are out walking their dogs, whatever it is. And it's well worth doing. And obviously going back to registering with an estate agent, it's really important. Find one you can work with, find one that you think's telling you the truth and is on it. You'll know really easy when you walk into these offices. There'll be people that want to help you, people that are clearly passionate about what they do. Then there'll be people that can't even bother to register you. And I'll be interested actually to hear from you guys, like your experiences of going into agents, registering face to face, and what kind of service, wherever you are in the country or in the world, what kind of service you actually really do get from them. They sat you down and offering you a drink. Are they answering questions? Are they just telling you to look on Rightmove and call them if you see anything? I'll be really interested to see what actual level of services you're getting across the UK. That'll be really good. So check that in the comments below if you get a chance. What else will I put here? It's really early in the morning. Bear with me. I'm really tired. So we've gone through that process. You found a solicitor, you registered on Rightmove, you got your mortgage agreement in principle, you know that you're getting the best mortgage deal, you're not giving your money away to banks, you've got your alert set up on Rightmove, you've got a solicitor ready to pounce. Obviously another one thing I'll be asking the agent you're dealing with is, do they have an in-house sales progressor? This basically means that instead of you having to phone your conveyancer all the time, your solicitor, who a lot of the time are really busy, what you'll have is someone in that office that is basically chasing the sales through. So what we do, I work very differently here. So if I sell someone's property and that client has a property they need to find, basically, what a lot of companies do, and the majority from experience, if I'm honest, is they sell a property to you as a first-time buyer and it gets chucked in a drawer because they've sold it. chalk it up on board, sold the house, fantastic. The problem is it's not sold, because if the chap or lady in general, whatever, from that house need to go and find a property, you're not buying that house until they find a property, and that chain's complete. So we basically market as what we call a B deal, meaning that I need now to help that client find a property to complete the chain, whether he buys one and that person buys another one or whatever it is. That's what it comes down to. Now, don't be afraid of being in chains. The bottom line is, if things are checked out, things are qualified, everyone's moving and getting on with things, there's nothing wrong with chains. They're absolutely fine. You want to see people making financial commitments, paying for surveys and getting on with stuff. It's when things are just sold, chucked in a drawer and left that the problems start. No agent or anybody can mitigate against illness or horrible things that go on in the world, people splitting up and all this stuff. But they can mitigate against sheer stupidity of agreeing a sale where nothing's been done for 6 weeks and the guy pulled out 5 weeks ago but no one's looked at it. I mean, that's just crap. So ask the agent if there's an in-house progressor. Really interested. That obviously the conveyancing process then starts. Hopefully the conveyancer or the agent is then keeping you updated. Hopefully that agent you chose to work with, if you guys dealt with me at any time, if you ring me anytime, mobile or anything, and you need help, I'll always jump on the phone and talk to the solicitors for you and see if there's anything we can do just to push them along. The honest truth, a lot of these guys and girls, the conveyancers, they're not paid, unfortunately, on a result, they're paid on work. So the process, unfortunately, when I started in 1995 as an estate agent, when I was 17, I used to get my commission through in like 8 weeks, 9 weeks. We're averaging 14 weeks now. It's the same process. And bear in mind, we've got bloody, WhatsApp and Rightmove, I want to talk about WhatsApp and email and all this technology. Back then it was shy a horse and carry a pigeon. And it was quicker, and it's the same process. And now apparently it takes 6 to 8 weeks longer to buy a house. Great. So that's fantastic. So you need to get on with it. You need to stay on their backs and keep pushing. And the agents, you'll be surprised. You find a good estate agent, estate agents do a lot more than people think they do in terms of getting things through. When you pay anyone on work and not a result, in my opinion, you're on a hide into nowhere, because the guys are getting paid. And remember, on each one, the government are getting taxed. There's 20% VAT on all this. So last year, I think in the UK is just over 330,000, something like that, transactions aborted. So roughly 1 in 4 sales falls through. You've got to remember, each one of those, the vendor would have paid for an EPC, engine performance certificate, maybe some upfront marketing. They're instructed the conveyancer's done that work. No one moves, someone pulls out, whatever happens. There's a conveyancing bill for the buyer, one for the seller, whoever else in the chain, and 20% VAT goes to the government. So the system's never going to change. You've got to work in the confines of what you've got. But any decent agent will be chasing that through. And then obviously the process goes through. Then we get at the end, we get what we call exchange, which means you exchange contracts, you swap contracts, and the house is now legally yours. And then you set a completion date, which is normally 5 days after the exchange of contract. So the completion day is the day you basically get your keys and move in. So what happens, the buyer's solicitor, in essence, orders the mortgage money, which takes roughly about 5 days on average, which is why you normally say exchange contracts on Friday and complete the following Friday. And then basically what happens on that completion day, your conveyancer will automatically, electronically transfer that money to pay for the house that you're buying. Once the seller's solicitor has had that phone call, the estate agent can release the keys to you, which, because of good old systems, again, can be blooming any time. It's a nightmare. But then obviously completion day is the day you move in. And just before I go and get coffee, a few other things to add to it. Guys, don't try and time the market. Houses aren't investments, they're liabilities. Buy it as a home, don't buy it as an investment, trying to make money, trying to be clever, trying to turn it quickly. The people that have got deals, and this is part of the reason why I started this YouTube channel, because I'm a massive car fan, and I was watching a video and it had obviously come up in the algorithm, some guy selling a course on buying properties, and it was some bullshit where he was telling you how you can find someone willing to back you, and what was it? It was like find someone willing to back you and no money down, get this house, and I'll show you how to make £2,000 renting houses you don't earn. Bullshit, guys. anything you want to do in life is hard work. You have to pay your dues, graft. There is no quick money, there's no easy money. There's just unfortunately odd stories of the exceptions. And like I say to my son all the time, the exception does not make the rule. It's like me planning my life. I'm going to win the lottery and I'm going to go and buy a McLaren 720S and go and watch Barcelona play football every weekend and go to WrestleMania and do all the things I want to do and go to the beach and just lie in the sun all day. It's not going to happen. I've got graft like everybody. So don't try and time the market. Houses aren't investments. Your budget when you get it from the broker, from the mortgage broker, is not your budget, it's your limit. Don't stretch yourself. You want to be able to live, pay your bills, try and fix your mortgage I would personally be fixing it for as long as possible. You'll pay a little bit extra, but you've got that peace of mind. And a lot of these people that bought houses over the COVID market we've had, you know, they were taking, you know, insanely low mortgage rates that were never sustainable. It's an artificially inflated market to get the economy moving, because it's one of the biggest parts of the UK economy is the housing market. You think, you know, someone who buys a house, you're going to go in there, you pay for a solicitor, you pay my bills, sell the house, 2 conveyancers on it, you probably go and get Sky TV, buy some new fencing, buy a boiler, buy a carpet, all this stuff we have. There's so much of a knock on, you know, to absolutely everything. Go to B&Q and buy some paint, all this stuff. So the housing market's a huge part of the UK economy. So buy what's comfortably affordable. Do your research. Don't try and time the market. The right time to buy a house sensibly is when it's right for you. Don't worry about what your friends are doing. Don't worry about what other people have bought. Take advice from people that know what they're doing, you feel you can trust. And as always, if you reach out, obviously my email's here. If you need anything, just let me know. So I've been waffling for 16 minutes. I hope that helps. There's always a lot to cover. There's always questions. There's always more detail to each point. But my email's in the description below. Anything you need, please just feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help you. And I hope this video helps, and I'll be back soon. I made a promise to try and do a video every week this year, which I'm going to try and stick to. And as always, like I said, need anything, let me know. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.